That first episode, I thought was really, really good. It was well paced and interesting characters, and like drew me in without a question. And then the second episode aired, and I was just like, I've seen this already. There was nothing new in that episode. It was a rehash of everything from the first episode.
The second episode ended exactly where it began. Let's look at the three big plots. There was the preacher who was having a fit of conscience over whether to tell the FBI agent what he saw or not.
I wanted to do the right thing.
Oh, the right thing. Stick to preaching.
The man died giving me those pictures. I gave them to the task force because I thought they could help. They're supposed to be on our side, aren't they?
Even though he had just seen them intercept a 911 call. So clearly they've infiltrated all levels of power.
I want to help. I'm going to go to the FBI.
Yeah. He just saw an FBI agent get sliced in half and with a reptile underneath. So, that was dumb. Secondly, you've got the mother and her son lying to her about seeing the V's. And
Ty, thanks for keeping your promise about the V's.
And hanging out with them and stuff. And at the end, he's lying to her. Well, duh, we knew that at the very beginning.
You've got the guy who is an alien and then at the end of this one, it's like
cut himself on a filing cabinet. God.
Good line.
Where do you work that you have to? You're filing.
Then you have his story line of like, there's more of us and we're gonna help. Mm-hmm. And where did it start? I don't know where they are. He shows up in this one. And then he finds one of them, and then that guy drugs him and leaves. So it's like, I don't know where they are.
And the other one was the reporter having the same crisis of conscience that he had in the pilot. Do I ask them the hard questions or not?
So nothing really changed. And
I'm still down. I'm still watching. I still have high hopes for this show, but my God, that was got to be the worst second episode ever. Yeah, especially with the only airing 4 episodes this year. Guys, come on.
Now, I also want to talk about, like, everyone was calling it this runaway hit and everything like that. After 1 week, everyone's praising the show and how amazing the ratings are. You know what? It got 14 million viewers. It got a huge share of the market. That's great. Next week, 27% loss. That's not so good.
That's not a hit.
It's still good numbers. Like, it's still really good numbers, and you got to give them credit on that.
Well, and we want the show to succeed.
I'm still debating. I haven't
really?
I haven't decided yet. Oh. That second episode really just annoyed me.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
It was I just spent.
I still have high hopes for it.
Actually, you're better than I am. Can we start calling shows hits based on like, I don't know, at least like 5 episodes? 4 maybe? Like, can we wait for more numbers to come in? Can we wait till we actually see a trend before we call a show a hit? I mean, it really bugs me when it's like, this show's a hit or this show's a failure based on 1 episode. Yeah. That's not an accurate way of deciding something.
Have you been watching SGU?
I have been watching SGU. I'm enjoying it. Yeah. I'm actually really enjoying it. There's been a lot of heat from like Stargate SG-1 fans and stuff like that. And one of the writers fired back in this in one of his blog posts and stuff like that. And he was talking about people who are complaining about the show and people who are complaining about characters and this and that and being really vicious in their attacks. And it's just like, I'm kind of sitting there and I'm just like, well, dude, you're a science fiction writer and you kind of had to know what you were getting into.
Yeah,
now, it's
seriously.
It's not fair on the cast because if you don't know the world you're getting into, then it's kind of like dangerous territory. In fair, but he points out.
How can you come into a show 2009 and not know that sci-fi fans are kind of rabid?
Not just rabid, but they're like crazy. Let's face it, we're all a little nuts.
Well, especially when you're taking an established property that is close to somebody's heart, and you're doing things with it. I mean, that pilot, man. At the first 20 minutes, it was such a BSG ripoff. I almost turned it off.
Well, I think that's the thing. I was having this discussion with someone else. It seems Sci-Fi, when they switched from Sci-Fi to SYFY, really wanted to get away from the science fiction idea. And so it's like, all right, so I don't remember where this line is from, and I have to find that. But it's like, way to think outside, but right up against the box.
Way to think outside, but pressed right up against the box, Sheldon.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take Stargate and Battlestar Galactica, and I'm gonna find a way to combine the funny. No, we're gonna get rid of all the funny. We're gonna take the serious from Battlestar and the dark, but we're gonna use Stargates, but we're really not gonna use them that much. We're really gonna focus. So it's like, all right, so we've got the Stargate idea, sort of, but not really. Like, this show could have worked. I think this show could have worked without calling it Stargate.
Yeah.
And instead of having like the gates to jump to the Earth, had like away ships or something like that, where it's just you get on the ship and it's autopiloted to.
You know what? I'm with you. I would love that because that's what I hate the most. That's the only thing about the show that I don't like are these Kino flows and these.
I don't mind the idea of like having the little ball. You don't like the name. You don't like the name just because it's a light name.
I love the sciencey aspects of the show. Yeah. I love oh my god, this week we're out of air. Oh my god, this week we're out of water. Oh my god, this week we're out of heat. How are we gonna fix these? This problems based in reality, and they use more or less they use science to solve those problems. I love that. I hate when the magic into it.
So you like the communication stuff. Yeah. See, but like this is the thing. Like I like having the communication back to Earth every now and again. Partially because it means Richard Dean Anderson guest stars, and well, I'm kind of a big Richard Dean Anderson fan. But he's not. I mean, again, it's. I think the fans have to realize, and the writers pretty much said it. Like, look, this is not your typical Stargate series. We are doing our own separate thing. It's going to be much more. It's going to be longer. It's going to be more thought out. It's going to be It's not a 40-minute tells a story thing. It requires a little more of you to invest, but you get something back from it more than just a few good laughs. And I loved SG-1. Which is probably like really the only series I liked. I didn't really like Stargate Atlantis, but I was a huge SG-1 fan, and I love it for what it is. But I'm really enjoying Stargate Universe because it is that like I don't mind that it's like right outside but right up against the box because for me that works. I'm perfectly content with like okay, this is just going to be a dark Stargate. And with some really interesting characters, and for the most part, I think all the characters are really interesting, except for like maybe one or two that I'm sure will develop because they have to be around.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen more of it than any other Stargate show.
Which is probably the biggest compliment you can say for the Stargate show. Is you're really not a fan.
Well,
Let's talk Smallville.
Let's
just briefly talk Smallville. I'm a huge Superman fan. For anyone who knows me, I'm a diehard Superman fan. And when Smallville started, I was really, really big into the show. And I probably gave up on it like season 3 or 4. Season 3 or 4, I think I gave up on it. But by giving up on it, I kind of mean the same thing as Pete. I stopped telling people to watch it, but I still watch every episode.
I stopped after the first season. I mean, once it became clear that they were more interested in, the love triangle between Lana and Chloe and more interested in that than the actual Superman backstory. I tuned out, and every once in a while, I'll see previews for this week on this week on Smallville. And, my God, man, I don't know. Like, I don't understand who's watching the show. I don't understand how they can keep building an audience. Like the numbers of people who watch this show just get stronger and stronger. They're in season 9 now.
And they're talking
Tom
about
Welland is 42 fucking years old, and he still isn't wearing the blue tights.